Have you ever wondered what really happens inside your body the moment you start walking? Most people picture their legs moving, their muscles working, and maybe a few calories being burned. Some imagine their heart beating a little faster, but almost nobody thinks about the thousands of miles of blood vessels quietly changing with every single step. And yet, your blood vessels may be one of the biggest reasons walking is so powerful. Every time you go for a walk, a remarkable chain reaction begins inside your arteries, veins, and microscopic capillaries. Blood starts flowing faster. The walls of your blood vessels sense this change immediately. Tiny cells lining the inside of every artery begin releasing chemical messengers. Oxygen is delivered more efficiently. Glucose travels more smoothly toward working muscles. Waste products are removed more quickly. Even your blood pressure begins responding in ways that scientists have studied for decades. The surprising part is that none of this requires running a marathon. Many people believe walking is simply too gentle to create meaningful changes inside the cardiovascular system. They assume that only intense workouts strengthen blood vessels, while walking is merely a light activity for burning a few calories or stretching stiff legs. That belief couldn't be further from the truth. Your blood vessels are not passive tubes that simply carry blood from one place to another. They are living, intelligent tissue. Every artery constantly monitors blood flow. Every vessel responds to pressure. The cells lining these vessels communicate with the heart, muscles, brain, kidneys, liver, and immune system. They release signaling molecules that determine whether vessels relax or tighten, whether circulation improves or worsens, and whether tissues receive enough oxygen to perform at their best. In other words, your vascular system is constantly making decisions. The moment you begin walking, those decisions begin changing. Imagine standing beside a quiet river. When the water barely moves, the riverbank remains calm. But when the current becomes stronger, the entire environment changes. Rocks are washed clean. Fresh oxygen mixes into the water. Nutrients travel farther downstream. Life becomes more active. Something very similar happens inside your blood vessels. As blood begins flowing more rapidly through healthy arteries, the cells lining their inner surface detect the increased movement. They respond by releasing substances that improve circulation, reduce unnecessary tension inside the vessel walls, and prepare the body to deliver more oxygen and nutrients exactly where they are needed most. This process doesn't happen once in a lifetime. It happens every single time you walk. And when those healthy signals are repeated, day after day, week after week, and year after year, your blood vessels begin adapting. They become more flexible, more responsive, better at regulating blood pressure, better at supporting healthy blood sugar, better at protecting your heart and brain as you age. By the end of today's video, you'll understand why walking is much more than exercise for your legs. It is one of the most effective forms of vascular training available, quietly improving circulation and metabolic health from the inside out with every step you take. But to truly appreciate what walking does, we first need to take a closer look at the living structure hidden inside every blood vessel. To understand why walking changes your blood vessels, we first need to stop imagining them as simple pipes. A pipe in a wall is passive. Water flows through it, but the pipe itself does not think, respond, adapt, or communicate. Your blood vessels are completely different. They are living structures made of cells that constantly sense what is happening inside your body. Your arteries carry oxygen-rich blood away from the heart. Your veins return blood back to the heart. Your capillaries are the tiny microscopic vessels where oxygen, glucose, fatty acids, hormones, and nutrients are delivered directly to your cells. Together, this vascular network reaches almost every corner of the body. If the vessels are healthy, organs receive what they need. If the vessels become stiff, inflamed, or poorly responsive, every organ feels the difference. One of the most important parts of this system is the endothelium. This is the thin inner lining of your blood vessels, and although it is only a single layer of cells, it has enormous influence over your health. The endothelium helps control whether blood vessels relax or tighten. It helps regulate blood clotting balance. It communicates with immune cells. It influences inflammation. It helps manage blood pressure. And perhaps most importantly, during walking, it produces a molecule called nitric oxide. Nitric oxide is one of the body's most important circulation signals. When released by healthy endothelial cells, it tells the smooth muscle in the vessel wall to relax. As the vessel relaxes, it widens slightly. This allows more blood to flow through with less resistance. Better blood flow means better oxygen delivery, better nutrient delivery, better glucose transport, and more efficient removal of waste products, such as carbon dioxide and metabolic byproducts. Now imagine what happens when you begin walking. Your leg muscles start contracting, again and again. These working muscles immediately need more oxygen and fuel. Your heart responds by pumping more blood. As more blood moves through the arteries feeding your muscles, the flow creates a gentle mechanical force along the inner vessel wall. Scientists call this shear stress. The word stress may sound negative, but in this case, shear stress is actually a healthy signal. It is the physical sensation of flowing blood rubbing against the endothelial lining. When the endothelium senses this increased flow, it responds by releasing more nitric oxide. The arteries relax, blood vessels widen, circulation improves, more oxygen and glucose reach the working muscles. The body becomes better at matching blood supply to energy demand. This is one of the reasons walking improves blood pressure regulation. When blood vessels relax more easily, the heart does not have to push blood through a stiff, narrow system. Resistance decreases. Circulation becomes smoother. Over time, repeated walking can train the endothelium to become more responsive, meaning your vessels become better at relaxing when they need to. This process also affects blood sugar. Glucose cannot reach muscle cells unless blood delivers it there first. During walking, improved blood flow helps carry glucose toward the muscles, while muscle contractions help pull that glucose into the cells. The vascular system and muscular system work together. Blood vessels deliver the fuel. Muscles absorb it. This is why walking after meals can be so helpful for glucose control. Daily walking matters because the endothelium responds to repetition. One walk creates a temporary improvement in circulation. Many walks create adaptation. Repeated shear stress teaches blood vessels to remain more flexible, improves nitric oxide signaling, and supports healthier vascular tone. In contrast, long periods of sitting reduce blood flow, weaken these signals, and may contribute to stiffer, less responsive vessels over time. Poor vascular health is connected to many problems people often blame only on aging: high blood pressure, cold hands and feet, fatigue, brain fog, poor exercise tolerance, insulin resistance, kidney strain, heart disease, and accelerated biological aging. In many cases, the issue is not simply that the body is getting older. It is that the blood vessels are no longer responding as well as they should. Walking helps because it gives your vessels a reason to stay alive, flexible, and responsive. So the key idea is simple. Walking is vascular training. Every step increases blood flow. Every increase in flow stimulates the endothelium. Every endothelial response improves nitric oxide signaling. And every repeated walk teaches the blood vessels to function more effectively. Now that we understand the biology, let's follow what happens inside your blood vessels minute by minute during an ordinary walk. Now let's watch what happens inside your blood vessels from the moment you take your first step. Although these changes are invisible, they happen with remarkable precision. Every minute of your walk sends new information through your vascular system, and every organ begins responding almost immediately. During the first few steps, your muscles wake up. Muscle fibers begin contracting rhythmically, requiring more oxygen and more fuel than they needed just moments earlier. Your brain recognizes this increase in demand before you are even fully aware of it. Signals travel through the nervous system, telling your heart to beat a little faster and a little stronger. Within the first minute, blood flow begins increasing. The arteries supplying your legs immediately experience a greater volume of blood moving through them. The endothelial cells lining these arteries sense the increased flow almost instantly. They are incredibly sensitive to changes in circulation. As blood moves more rapidly across their surface, they begin releasing nitric oxide. This is one of the earliest and most important events of the entire walk. Nitric oxide relaxes the smooth muscle surrounding the arteries, allowing them to widen slightly. Even this small increase in diameter has a surprisingly large effect on blood flow. More oxygen-rich blood can now reach your working muscles with less resistance. Between 0 and 5 minutes, several systems are already working together. Your heart has increased its cardiac output. Blood vessels feeding inactive tissues narrow slightly, while those serving active muscles widen. This intelligent redistribution allows the body to send resources exactly where they are needed most. Rather than increasing blood flow everywhere equally, your body carefully prioritizes the muscles performing the work. At the same time, the muscle pump begins helping your veins. Unlike arteries, veins must return blood to the heart while working against gravity, especially from the legs. Every time your calf muscles contract, they gently squeeze the surrounding veins. Tiny one-way valves inside the veins prevent blood from flowing backward. Instead, each contraction pushes blood upward toward the heart. This is why walking is often recommended for people who spend long hours sitting or standing. The muscles become a second pump, assisting circulation and reducing blood pooling in the lower legs. As your walk continues into the 5 to 15-minute range, circulation becomes even more efficient. Blood flow has now stabilized at a higher level. Shear stress across the endothelial lining continues stimulating nitric oxide production. The arteries remain more relaxed than they were before the walk began. Capillaries inside the muscles begin opening more completely, allowing oxygen, glucose, amino acids, and fatty acids to reach a greater number of working muscle fibers. Imagine thousands of tiny neighborhood streets opening after a traffic jam. Delivery trucks can now reach every house more efficiently. That is essentially what happens inside your muscles. Better capillary recruitment means better nutrient delivery and better waste removal at the microscopic level. Carbon dioxide and other metabolic waste products produced during exercise are also removed more efficiently. Fresh oxygen replaces them continuously. This constant exchange allows the muscles to keep working without becoming fatigued too quickly. Between 15 and 30 minutes, the cardiovascular system reaches a comfortable rhythm. Your breathing becomes deeper, but remains controlled. The heart settles into a steady aerobic workload. Blood vessels continue responding dynamically to changing demands. Blood pressure regulation often becomes smoother because the arteries remain flexible and responsive rather than stiff and resistant. Meanwhile, glucose delivery improves throughout the body. Blood carries glucose toward the working muscles, while the muscles themselves continue removing glucose from circulation through contraction-driven uptake. Because blood vessels are delivering fuel efficiently, muscles can maintain energy production without requiring sudden spikes in blood sugar. Inflammatory signaling may also begin shifting during this stage. While chronic inflammation damages blood vessels over time, regular moderate exercise encourages the production of anti-inflammatory molecules that support healthier vascular function. These changes are subtle during one walk, but become increasingly meaningful when repeated consistently over months and years. Now imagine reaching 30 to 45 minutes. By this point, your blood vessels have been receiving healthy mechanical stimulation for an extended period. The endothelial cells have experienced sustained shear stress, continuing to release nitric oxide and maintain healthy vessel relaxation. Oxygen delivery remains efficient. Blood continues moving smoothly toward active muscles while returning effectively through the venous system. Your brain also benefits. Because circulation has remained steady, the brain receives a continuous supply of oxygen and glucose. Many people notice improved mental clarity, better concentration, and a calmer mood after a moderate walk. These feelings are not simply psychological. They are supported by healthier cerebral blood flow and improved communication between the cardiovascular and nervous systems. Then your walk comes to an end. Surprisingly, your blood vessels do not immediately return to their previous state. For several hours afterward, many arteries remain more relaxed than they were before exercise. Blood pressure may stay slightly lower. Blood continues circulating efficiently, and muscles remain more sensitive to insulin, allowing glucose to move into cells more effectively after your next meal. Now imagine repeating this process almost every day. After several weeks, the endothelium becomes healthier and more responsive. Nitric oxide production improves. Resting blood pressure often begins decreasing. Blood vessels become less stiff and more flexible. Circulation improves throughout the body, allowing organs to receive oxygen and nutrients more efficiently. Physical endurance increases because every heartbeat delivers blood through a healthier vascular network. What began as a simple daily walk has quietly trained one of the most important systems in your body. But the story doesn't end inside the blood vessels themselves. Every major organ depends on healthy circulation, and each one responds differently when your vascular system becomes stronger. That is where the real transformation begins. Now that we've followed the journey inside your blood vessels, let's look at what those changes mean for the rest of your body. Blood vessels connect every organ, so when circulation improves, the benefits spread far beyond your legs. A healthier vascular system becomes the foundation for healthier metabolism, stronger organs, and slower biological aging. Let's begin with the heart. Your heart is an extraordinary pump, but like any pump, its job becomes easier when the pipes connected to it are flexible instead of stiff. When walking stimulates nitric oxide production, your arteries relax and become more compliant. This reduces the resistance the heart must overcome every time it pumps blood. Cardiologists call this resistance afterload. Lower afterload means the heart can move blood more efficiently while using less energy. Over months of regular walking, the heart often becomes stronger and more efficient. Each beat pumps a greater volume of blood, a measurement known as stroke volume. Because more blood is delivered with every heartbeat, the heart no longer needs to beat as frequently while resting. This is one reason people who walk consistently often develop a lower resting heart rate and better cardiovascular endurance. Now let's move to the brain. Although the brain accounts for only about 2% of your body weight, it consumes roughly 20% of your body's oxygen. That enormous demand means the brain depends heavily on healthy blood vessels. During walking, improved circulation delivers a steady supply of oxygen and glucose to brain tissue. This supports attention, memory, reaction time, and mental clarity. Many people notice that they think more clearly during or after a walk. Others feel calmer or less anxious. Part of this comes from changes in neurotransmitters, but improved cerebral blood flow also plays an important role. Over years, maintaining healthy blood vessels may help preserve cognitive function because flexible arteries continue supplying the brain efficiently as we age. Now consider your muscles. Every muscle contraction depends on oxygen and nutrients arriving through tiny capillaries. As walking repeatedly increases circulation, more capillaries become active, and existing capillaries function more efficiently. Better blood flow means muscles receive glucose faster, oxygen arrives sooner, and waste products leave more quickly. These improvements allow muscles to work longer before fatigue develops. They also improve recovery after exercise, because nutrients needed for repair can reach muscle tissue more effectively. The liver also benefits from healthier circulation. The liver constantly processes nutrients absorbed from the digestive system, regulates blood glucose, stores glycogen, and helps manage fat metabolism. When muscles remove glucose efficiently during walking, the liver no longer needs to release unnecessary amounts of glucose into the bloodstream. Better circulation also ensures the liver receives a continuous supply of oxygen and nutrients to support these demanding metabolic tasks. Over time, this healthier metabolic environment may reduce stress on liver cells and support better fat metabolism, especially when walking becomes a consistent habit combined with balanced nutrition. The pancreas quietly benefits as well. Healthy circulation allows glucose and hormones to move efficiently between the pancreas and the rest of the body. As muscles become more insulin sensitive during regular walking, the pancreas no longer has to release excessive amounts of insulin after every meal. This reduces long-term stress on the insulin-producing beta cells. In other words, healthier blood vessels indirectly help protect one of the body's most important metabolic organs. Your kidneys are another major winner. Every day, the kidneys filter enormous volumes of blood. Healthy blood vessels help maintain stable pressure inside the delicate filtering units called nephrons. When blood pressure becomes healthier through regular walking, the kidneys experience less strain. Better vascular health also supports more efficient filtration, fluid balance, and waste removal throughout the body. Now let's return to visceral fat. Many people think circulation has little to do with belly fat, but the two are closely connected. Better blood flow improves the delivery of oxygen and hormones throughout fat tissue. Combined with lower insulin levels during and after walking, this creates an environment where stored fatty acids can be released more efficiently and transported to working muscles for energy. While walking does not magically melt belly fat overnight, Healthier circulation makes the entire fat-burning process work more effectively over time. Finally, we come back to the mitochondria. These microscopic energy factories exist inside nearly every cell. Their ability to produce ATP depends heavily on oxygen. Without efficient blood vessels delivering oxygen continuously, mitochondria cannot perform at their best. Daily walking improves oxygen delivery, allowing mitochondria to produce energy more efficiently, while supporting both glucose oxidation and fat oxidation. Over time, the body even builds more mitochondria, increasing overall metabolic capacity. When you connect all these pieces, one simple truth becomes clear. Healthy blood vessels make every major organ work better. The heart pumps with less effort. The brain receives steadier oxygen. Muscles perform more efficiently. The liver manages glucose more effectively. The pancreas experiences less stress. The kidneys filter blood more comfortably. Visceral fat becomes easier to mobilize. Mitochondria produce energy more efficiently. All of these improvements begin with something as simple as taking a walk. But how do these invisible biological changes affect your everyday life? What differences can you actually feel? And what common mistakes prevent many people from receiving the full benefits of healthier blood vessels? That's exactly what we'll explore next. The fascinating thing about healthier blood vessels is that you often notice the benefits in everyday life, long before you ever think about your arteries. Most people never wake up and say, "My endothelial function feels much better today." Instead, they simply realize that ordinary activities have become easier. One of the first changes many people notice is warmer hands and feet. Better circulation allows blood to reach the smallest blood vessels more efficiently, especially in areas that often feel cold. Others discover they no longer become out of breath as quickly when climbing stairs or carrying groceries. Their heart and blood vessels have learned to work together more efficiently, delivering oxygen exactly where it is needed. Energy is another common improvement. Instead of feeling sluggish throughout the afternoon, many people experience steadier energy because oxygen and nutrients are being delivered more effectively to muscles and the brain. Mental clarity often improves as well. Tasks that once felt mentally exhausting become easier because the brain is receiving a more consistent supply of oxygen-rich blood. Some people notice that their blood pressure gradually becomes healthier during routine medical checkups. Others see improvements in post-meal blood sugar because walking helps muscles absorb glucose more efficiently, while healthy blood vessels deliver that glucose where it needs to go. Recovery also improves. After physical activity, muscles receive nutrients more quickly, while metabolic waste is removed more efficiently. This often means less soreness and greater endurance during future walks. Unfortunately, many people reduce these benefits by making a few very common mistakes. The first mistake is believing walking must be exhausting to improve circulation. In reality, moderate, consistent walking creates exactly the type of steady blood flow that encourages healthy nitric oxide production and endothelial function. Another mistake is walking only once or twice each week while spending the rest of the time sitting for long hours. Blood vessels respond best to frequent movement. Sitting for 8 or 10 hours every day cannot be completely reversed by one short weekend walk. Many people also ignore the power of walking after meals. Even a short walk following lunch or dinner can help improve glucose delivery and blood sugar regulation. Poor hydration is another overlooked problem. Blood is mostly water. When you're dehydrated, circulation becomes less efficient, making the heart work harder to maintain blood flow. Some people finish a healthy walk only to consume large amounts of ultra-processed food, excess sugar, or sugary drinks. While one meal won't erase the benefits of walking, consistently overwhelming the vascular system with unhealthy eating can slow long-term improvements. Finally, many people measure only their weight. They ignore better endurance, healthier blood pressure, improved energy, fewer cold hands and feet, clearer thinking, and easier recovery. These are often the earliest signs that the vascular system is becoming healthier. The most important mindset shift is this: every walk is not simply exercise for your muscles. Every walk is training for your blood vessels. And healthier blood vessels quietly improve nearly every system in your body. Now let's put everything together into a practical routine you can begin using immediately. The good news is that you don't need complicated equipment or extreme workouts to strengthen your blood vessels. One of the most effective strategies is surprisingly simple. Aim to walk for 30 to 45 minutes on most days of the week at a moderate, comfortable pace. You should be breathing more deeply than normal, but still able to carry on a short conversation. That level of effort provides the steady increase in blood flow that encourages healthy endothelial function and nitric oxide production. If your schedule is busy, don't underestimate shorter walks. A 10 to 20-minute walk after meals can significantly improve blood sugar control, while giving your blood vessels another healthy training session. Try to avoid sitting for long, uninterrupted periods. Standing up and walking for just 2 to 5 minutes every hour helps keep blood moving and reminds your vascular system to stay active throughout the day. Support your walking routine with proper hydration, protein-rich meals, plenty of fiber, quality sleep, and resistance training a few times each week. These habits work together to improve circulation, metabolic health, and long-term cardiovascular function. The most important lesson from today's video is that every single walk changes your blood vessels. Increased blood flow creates healthy shear stress. Shear stress stimulates nitric oxide production. Nitric oxide helps blood vessels relax, improving oxygen delivery, glucose transport, blood pressure regulation, and communication between every major organ in your body. Over time, these invisible improvements become visible through better energy, stronger endurance, healthier blood pressure, improved blood sugar, and healthier aging. If you found this explanation helpful, leave a comment below and tell us why you walk most often. Is it for weight loss, lower blood pressure, better blood sugar, more energy, or simply to stay healthy as you age? We'd love to hear your story. And if you enjoy science-based videos about walking, circulation, metabolism, intermittent fasting, visceral fat, blood sugar, and healthy aging, don't forget to subscribe so you won't miss our next episode.